Welcome to Animate a Flying Bird with Blender, where we'll learn how to animate a cute cartoon bird using simple poses. Hi, I'm Jonathan Lamb, a digital artist with Tuts Plus, and in this course we'll take you through step by step on how to create a looping flying bird animation using just a few frames of animation. We'll learn to do this all from scratch, but if you're looking for some stock images, make sure to check out Envato Elements, where you can get unlimited downloads of video templates, stock videos, audio tracks, effects, and more. There's millions of creative assets all ready to use and with simple commercial licensing. Plus, no lock-in contract means that you can cancel at any time. Subscribe now with the link in the description. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Envato Tuts Plus channel for even more free tutorials and courses. Once you're ready, let's get started in Blender. Go to File, New, 2D Animation, and this should open up a new 2D animation project that we can work from. This should also automatically put you into draw mode here, and will also create an active grease pencil object that we can create 2D strokes with. First, let's zoom out using the mouse wheel so that we can see the whole canvas. And from there, we're going to import our reference images. Now you can see here that we have a set of 4 rough sketches to block out the shape of the body. These represent the 4 frames of animation that we'll be using to create our flying animation. Now this is a rough block out of the general shape of the bird, so feel free to create your own sketches with more detail if you want to. Back in Blender, let's go over to Object Mode here, and we're going to press Shift A on the keyboard, select Image, and then Reference, and then we're going to select the reference image for our animation. So go ahead and load that in. And then from here, what I like to do is I like to click and hold the middle mouse button or the scroll wheel and move the mouse to navigate the viewport in 3D space. And then from here, what I like to do is I like to select our reference image, go over to the move tool here, and I like to move our reference image back a little bit because sometimes the image can interfere with the grease pencil tool when we're drawing on the same plane. Now let's go back to the Object Properties panel here, and we want to make a note of the location value in the Y, as we're going to place all the other reference images in the same place. So let's go ahead and make this 2 meters, just so that it's a nice easy number to remember. And then once you're done, let's go ahead and click on this camera icon here to reset to our original camera view. And you can see that we have our reference image nicely positioned and ready for us to draw over using our grease pencil tool. Go over to the Object Data Properties panel, and I'm going to lower the opacity of our reference image by clicking on Opacity and just clicking and dragging this to, let's say, 0.5, like that. And then we're just going to go up here and we're going to rename this by double clicking Ref 01. Cool. Now let's go ahead and select our grease pencil tool here, and we're going to rename this Head and Body, and then make sure that we're in draw mode by going over here and clicking on draw mode. And then we're going to select the draw tool here, and we're going to click on this brush icon, which is over on the top here, and we're going to go ahead and select pen. Still at the top, let's go ahead and navigate to the stroke, which is up here. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to increase the smooth value here to 2, the iterations to 3, and the subdivision steps to 3 as well. Cool. And then once we've done that, let's go ahead and create some materials for us to use. So let's go over to the Materials tab, which is down here. And from here, we're going to create some colors for us to use for our bird. Now you can see we've got the default materials here, but we're going to make our own. So let's go ahead and click on the Add Material slot here. Click on New. And for this new material, we're going to go ahead and deselect Stroke, select Fill, and we're going to create a base color here by double clicking on this, going to the hex value, and we're going to select 0, 0, D0, F8. And this will be our blue color. And from there, we can double click on this and rename that material blue. Do the same again. So create a new material here. And this time we're going to select a new fill color here. And this base color is going to be F9, D024. That's going to be the yellow for our beak. So let's rename this material yellow. And then finally, let's create another material here. And this is going to be a stroke material. And we're just going to leave it at pure black. And that's going to be our black material. Let's go ahead and select the black stroke. And we can also select the black material from the menu up here. And you can see the other materials up here too. So this is where we can change our materials when we need to. And now down here on the timeline, if I bring this up, you can see that we've got two layers here called lines and fills. Let's go ahead and rename these. So double click on that. And we're going to rename the first layer head. And then the second layer body. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring this back down. We can also press Control Space on the keyboard to bring this to full view, and T on the keyboard to remove our side menu there as well. So let's zoom in to our reference image here. And then we're going to use the pen tool here just to trace over our image. So I'm just going to draw out the top of the beak here, and then just trace over the shape of our head. Here, I'm just going to use the ink pen. Now the ink pen will be able to use the pen pressure. So if you're using a Wacom tablet, you can see here that we've utilized the pen pressure. And now for the body, let's go ahead and select the body layer, and then just draw out the shape of our body again, using our reference image to help us. Okay, now that we've got our shapes here, we're going to bring back our menu by pressing Control Space and T on the keyboard. And we're going to fill in these shapes by using the Fill tool here. So first of all, let's create a new layer. So pressing Add New Layer button here, making sure it's below our head and body layer. So let's go ahead and select that. And then just bring it down by pressing the Move Grease Layer Down button here, and we're going to rename this layer Fills, making sure that's selected. Let's go ahead and select the Fill tool, go up here, select the blue material, and we're just going to click inside these shapes to fill those shapes in. So now we're going to fill in the beak, so select yellow. Now let's go ahead and create the wings and the tail. So to do that, we need a new grease pencil tool. So let's collapse our head and body. Head over to Object Mode. Go to Add. And we want to go to Grease Pencil and Blank, which will create a new grease pencil tool here. Double click on that, and let's rename this Wings and Tail. Now let's go back to Draw Mode. Make sure that the Wings and Tails grease pencil tool is selected. You'll know it's selected by this pencil icon here. And we're going to go ahead and create some new grease pencil layers. So let's go to the grease pencil time sheet here. And we're going to go ahead and click the Add New Layer here. And we're going to rename our first layer Wing Front. And let's create another layer here. And we're going to rename this Wing Back. And then the final layer is going to be Tail. Now the layer order of this is going to matter because we want the front wing to be in front. So let's go ahead and select that and move that up, and then the back wing, move that up one as well. Cool. Now let's go ahead and select the front wing, and we're going to use the draw tool again to draw out our wing. Now, because this is a new grease pencil tool, we may need to create our materials again. So let's go ahead and make sure we've got the right pen selected. Go to the materials tab and let's go ahead and re-add our materials. So I'll quickly fast forward the video whilst I do that. Now, one cool trick that we can use for our materials here is we can also check the stroke option for our fill materials, so for both the blue and the yellow. And then if we go back to draw mode here and make sure that we've got the ink pen selected and the fill materials, so let's go ahead and select the blue, you'll see now it will have a stroke as well as a fill, which will really help when drawing out our wings and tail. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's select the wings front here. I'm going to press Control Space. Make sure that our cursor is in the viewport here to make our viewport bigger. And we're going to draw out our first wing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's our first wing here. And then our second wing, we're going to press Control Space to make sure that we're selecting the wings back layer. And here we go. We're going to draw 5 feathers as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see here that our second wing is in front of the head. So we're going to go ahead and fix that by selecting the wings back here, going over to our transform options, and we're going to just move it back slightly or move it forwards in the Y direction. So just by 0.1 meters or 0.01 meters. Okay, let's go ahead and select the tail layer here. And we're going to go ahead and draw that. So again, 5 feathers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just following our reference image there. And again, we've got the same problem. We need to send this tail back behind our body. So go to the transform options and let's move it by 0.01 meters. And you'll see straight away it's behind our body. So now that we've got our bird character fully drawn out, let's go ahead and start animating the wings and the tail. So let's hide our first reference image here. Go to object mode and we're going to press Shift A to bring in our second frame of animation. So load that reference image there. And then in the object properties panel here, we're going to bring it back by 2 meters as we did previously. So you can see now that it's brought back by 2 meters. And let's go back into the camera mode. And then from here, let's go and go to the object data properties here and click opacity and bring it back by 0.5. Cool. Once we've done that, let's go back to our wings and tail grease pencil here and select draw mode. And we're going to start by drawing out our front wing. So just make sure that the front wing layer is selected. And then from there, we're going to move forwards 4 frames. So let's go 1. In fact, let's zoom into our timeline here so we can see better what we're doing. So just zooming in, and we're going to move forwards 4 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be the 5th frame here. And then we're just going to go ahead and use our reference image to draw out our front wing. So I'm just going to use the reference image here to help draw out the shape. And then let's start bringing in the feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. Let's just close that up. And then let's go ahead and do the same with the back wing. So select the back wing here. And then we're going to use the reference image again, just to draw this. And then draw in the feathers, like so. And then we're going to do the same thing with the tail. So with the tail here, you can just go into, as soon as you start drawing, the first image will fade away. So let's do that. In fact, let's start that again. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then close that up. Cool. Next, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to repeat the process. So let's move forward 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to hide our second reference image. Now, in fact, this reference image is in the wrong collection. So let's move that up to our collection and rename that appropriately. So that's reference 02. And then we're going to go back to object mode, press Shift A, go to image, reference, and let's go to our third frame. Again, we want to move this back in the Y, so make sure it's moved back by the same amount, which was 2 meters. You can see that's been done there. And then we want to also make sure that the opacity is set to 0.5. And then going back to our wings and tail grease pencil, go back to draw mode. And again, we're going to use the reference image for our drawing. So go back to wings front. We're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Select the wings back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feathers. And then the same for the tail. So the tail's moved up here a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. Now you'll notice here on our reference image that the body and the head are starting to move along with the wings. So we'll fix that at a later date. So let's go ahead and rename our reference image here, reference 03, and move that to the collection. Go back to object mode, and we'll go and press Shift A to import our final frame of animation. So let's go ahead and do that. Go back to the object properties panel and move that back by 2 meters. And then we want to make sure that our third reference image is also hidden, so it doesn't clash with our fourth reference image. In fact, let's rename this now and move that up to the collection. And then from here, let's go to the image data, go to opacity, and make sure this is set to 0.5. Select the wings and tails grease pencil again. Then go to draw mode, and then we're going to move forwards 4 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to repeat the process again. So let's go ahead and use the reference image here to draw our first wing. So in fact, we need to make sure that we're selecting the right layer. So let's make sure that we're selecting wings front. And then let's draw out our feathers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Then go to the wings back, and then we're going to do the same, utilizing our reference image. Then drawing out the feathers like so. Cool. Now go to the tail. You'll see the tail has also moved. So let's go ahead and use that as our reference, like so. And now let's move forward 4 frames again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're on the 17th frame. And we're just going to go ahead and copy these keyframes. So select them all, press Ctrl C to copy, and then Ctrl V to paste them. And then from here, let's go ahead and make the end frame 17. And now, if you go ahead and click the play button, you'll see we've got our wings and our tail fully animated. But you'll also notice that our head and body also need to move. So we're going to go ahead and move the body and the head. So to do that, first of all, let's go to object mode. Let's move to the first frame. And this time, let's hide our reference image. We're going to select our head and body. And then we're going to go down here and select the action editor. And then from here, we're going to use the move tool, making sure that we're on the first frame to move our head and body ever so slightly to create some first keyframes here. Then we're going to move forwards 4 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go ahead and utilize our reference image. So you can also use that and unhide it. And we're going to move our body slightly up in line with our reference image. And then we're going to do the same thing again. Move forwards 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go ahead and move our body up again in line with our third reference image. And you can see here we've got a little bit of a gap with our wings here, which we can fix later on. Let's go ahead and continue moving our body first. So let's hide our third reference image and go to our fourth reference image here and move forwards 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, move our body in line with that image. Then if we move forwards 4 frames again, let's go ahead and highlight and select our first keyframes, press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V to paste them into place. Cool. And now you can see our body is moving, but it's not moving in the same frame rate as our wings and our tails. In fact, it's a little bit too smooth. So the way that we're going to go ahead and fix that is by selecting our first frames, pressing Ctrl C to copy them, and then moving to the frame just before our second frame of animation and pasting that in. And this means that it'll force that movement to stay the same before the last frame of animation, like so. And we're going to do the same thing again. Copy the second frame of animation, move forward until just before the next frame of animation and paste that in. And then the same thing again for the third frame. Move forwards just before that frame of animation there and paste that in. And then the same for our last frame here. So Ctrl C, and just before the last frame, press Ctrl V. And now you'll see that the head and the body are moving at the same frame rate as our wings. So let's go ahead and play that here. And you'll see that the animation is much nicer. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and hide our reference image here. And we're going to go back to the draw mode and fix any discrepancies that we've got with our wings here. So you can see here that we've got a little bit of a problem with our wings. So let's go ahead and select our blue material here, making sure that we've selected the wings and the tails. So make sure we've got the wings and the tails grease pencil selected. Go back to our grease pencil down here. And let's go ahead and fix that. So just quickly fixing our wing. So making sure we've got blue selected. And then just fix that up. And same with this here as well. Let's go ahead and fix that. Cool. And now when we press play, you'll see that we've got a nice looping bird flying animation. Now, if you want to make the animation even smoother, all we have to do is add some in-between frames between each of our current keyframes here. So our keyframes are four frames in between. So we'll just go ahead and move forward 2 frames. So we've got a middle keyframe here like so. And I'm just going to quickly demonstrate what I mean by repeating these steps. So let's go ahead and redraw our wings. So selecting the front wing here. I'm just going to quickly redraw this front wing here, like so. And then selecting the back wing. And then move forwards into our in-between frames here like this. And I'm going to redraw these frames, making sure that we've selected the right layer. So this is the front wing. And then the same for our back wing. And then moving 2 frames in between our next wings here. So we're going to create a new layer here, like so. And the same for our back wing. And then finally, our last in-between layer, which will be here. Let's go ahead and do the same for this. The same for our back wing. And ideally, you want to do the same for the tail as well. But I'm just going to do this as a demonstration. And now, once we've done all of that, if we go ahead and click the play animation button, you'll see that we've got a much smoother animation than we had before. Ideally, you'll also want to adjust the movements of the body and the head to match the new frames of animation that we've created for the wings. So there you have it, how to animate a flying bird animation in Blender. In this course, you've learned how to draw frame-by-frame animation using the grease pencil tool, and also how to animate your 2D objects just by moving them in object mode. So if you like this video and would like to see more, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of any new and inspiring videos. Stay tuned for some future Blender videos, and don't forget to check out the rest of the Envato Tuts Plus channel to learn After Effects, Photoshop, and much more.